Hey everyone, it's Karen, and I'm here to talk about our Mailbox Pop-up die set, one of my favorites actually. Great little die set that creates a pop-up mailbox that includes a double spinner. So as the card opens, the flag goes up and the door comes down, and you can have a lot of fun with that. It is a glue-in design, so you are actually able to use any size card that will fit, the mechanism, so that can even include like a slimline. And, glue it in wherever you want to on the fold. So you have a lot of control on this die set. It does have a fun little stamping feature too with the mailbox post. You can actually ink that up and then it stamps it and die cuts it, all at one time. Here's a card by Karen Aiken, like her little white pen detailing there. So just a sweet little way, all year round that you could send somebody a love note. If you incorporate a window on the front, oh, just knocked that heart off, y'all. Rough with my cards there. If you incorporate a window, then you can see the flag in the down position and then open the card. And then you see the movement. So, it's kind of a fun thing as well. And it gets even better because in the same class that I taught this card, I taught how to just take the upper spinner, double it, and make a spinning whatever card. So in our case, we made spinning monkeys. But then you could also do it. There's a YouTube video that shows the technique. And this is the one that I make in the YouTube video with the watering can, watering the tulips, using that mailbox spinner. So great die. I highly suggest that everybody get one if you don't have one already. Okay, so in this video, what I wanted to show is a card that I received from Fran this week. And it's just this lovely mailbox card. I mean, just all the detail that went into it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Love is in the mail. But when I opened this card the first time, I was surprised the lower spinner didn't come down. It was stuck in the up position. And so I called Fran and I said, hey, you've got a lower spinner that's not spinning. Can I fix that on camera so that people can see how I fixed it, in case they ever do the same thing? And she said, oh yeah, no, sure, no problem. She gave me permission and that was great. And then I proceeded to misdiagnose the problem. I thought that it was just some tortured folds from perhaps this edge of the door at one point hitting this envelope and stopping the thing and then making a little extra fold so that it really weakened that spinner. And so my solution was to actually cut the lower spinner out and put a new one in. And then I triumphantly said, and now, and I squished it down, it won't catch. And then it was up again. I did the exact same thing. And then I figured out what I had done. So I've already fixed Fran's card here. So I can't really repeat history on that regard. But instead, I'm going to show you what had happened in Fran's card, the true reason that hers was catching, and the solution for doing that. Okay, so first things first. This is the mechanism die that comes in the Mailbox Pop-up. And I know it's a little trickier than some of the other ones because of all the folds, but I'm just going to go through them again. I've drawn them in with pencil so that you can see them. First things first, there's 3 vertical lines, and those make a simple box pop-up. So just find those folds and fold them away from yourself. Sometimes I find with die cuts, folding towards my thumbnail first, because that's the side that the die is pressed into the paper, makes a crisper fold, and then I just reverse it. Okay. And notice here on this one, I've got this little loose section, but I don't care about that. I'm just working on this vertical right now. Okay. And then I'm going to do the other tab right here. All right. So 3 folds to the back. That makes a simple box pop-up. Look at that shape. Up and over. If I were to glue that into a card, okay, then it would flatten like this, and I could glue something to the top, and then as the card opened, it would pop up. Okay, simple box pop-up. Then here's where it gets a little trickier, which is we've got 2 spinners to work. Okay, for the upper spinner has 2 opposite diagonal lines, and the way that you work opposite mirror image diagonal lines together is that you close on the fold that's between them. And that allows you to fold both of them at the same time because you can just fold through both layers. And I like to go in both directions on that. Okay, really work those diagonal folds. Then I bring it back to where I started. I open to 90 degrees. So see, this is 90 degrees right here. And then I just press on the center fold between those 2 triangles. Okay, see how they're starting to invert? Now when I close here, it will pull the triangles into the piece. So see, that's how it works. Those triangles go inward, all right? Okay, then this is the one that operates the flag. So this little arm here needs to come over the top, right at its base. There's a score line, and into that G that I've marked there. That G means glue. So I'm going to put a little glue on my G. I only want to attach the arm down within the limits of the triangle. So I basically stopped the glue when I got to that diagonal fold because I want that little arm to go on a ride with those triangles. So see, as the triangles move, so does the arm that operates the flag. Okay? All right, upper spinner, easy. Bottom spinner, actually even easier because this side is loose over here. We don't actually have to fold through both layers at once to do the diagonal folds. We can do them one at a time. So I've marked the right triangle D. There's a reason for that. That's the side that the door is going to be attached to. But the diagonal fold that's next to my D, I can fold over the top on the diagonal, and see what I've done is I've moved this piece from here down to here just by working that diagonal fold that the die has made. Okay? The next fold is the one that we've already worked because it was this one. Okay? So that brings it back up. Then I've got another diagonal to fold it back on top of the other one. All right? So see? Basically, I now have something that looks an awful lot like this up here. It's just opposite. So see how these ones, the triangles fold into the piece. And on this lower one, the triangles are coming out towards you. Okay? So see, because it's going to get reversed. So it's going to be over here. Right? So when you're looking at it in this original position where you started, these triangles are pointed out at you and those triangles are pointed in. Okay? That might make it a little easier when you're looking at it to see if you've done it correctly. Okay, so at this point, typically we would add the door. And this is where I misdiagnosed what was going on. Okay? So usually, if you're doing something like a metallic cardstock or something on your door, then well, it's the triangle end of the door that gets attached to the D triangle, right? But you have to do it with your pretty side up. So what ends up happening is you have to attach the shiny side. If you've got single-sided metallic, it's the silver side that's now attaching to the D, and that usually is not a fan of glue. And so Fran did what we all do, right? If you're attaching a metallic, is you go to a dry adhesive like a mini glue dot. That's what I would do. That's what Fran did. Makes a lot of sense. Take a little mini glue dot there. Going to put it out here on the triangle end of that silver. Okay, make sure it's within the limits of the triangle. We don't like stray adhesive. Okay, so now we've got the adhesive on top of the triangle end, and we lay it down horizontally next to that D triangle. Okay, this is all shown in the instructions that come with the die set, and then we fold the D triangle over the top and into that adhesive to attach it. Okay, and now the door is attached to that D triangle. Okay, this is where I misdiagnosed Fran's problem, because this was the problem. Look at that little adhesive that has squished out. Okay, the open, or the closed, I guess I should say, the closed position of this mechanism, this ends up flat again like this in the closed position. So I'm upside down now. It would be like this. This is the closed position. See, this arm is going this way, door is going up. Okay, if you give, so underneath that mailbox in there, there's this sitting right there. Well, underneath there. Okay, so now it goes through the mail and a bunch of pressure was pushed against it, and what happened is that stray adhesive that was sticking out from that door, it attached this to my mechanism right here so that as it opened, look what happened. It couldn't, these triangles couldn't collapse inward because I just basically, or Fran did, had pinned this to the mechanism. So that stray adhesive basically made it so my triangles, instead of collapsing outward, they stayed inverted like this. Okay, when they really need to be doing is this to make the motion. Okay, so it was that stray adhesive attached to this little section of the mechanism and pulled those spinner triangles the wrong way. Okay, so you got to watch that. If you've added your door with a dry adhesive and a little bit of it is sticking out, now's the time to fix it. How do you fix it? Add a little bit of tape. I mean, I would say powder, but you know, powder can go away over time. So I would just make sure that you put a little piece of tape or something in there so that there is no stray adhesive sticking out from that thing that could catch your spinner and make it not work anymore. Okay, now your other option, and I do show this in the assembly video for the mailbox, which is this one, is you can attach your door to the inside of the D triangle. And I will often do that because then I get to attach the smooth side, the non-metallic side of the door. So I would basically, instead of putting the adhesive on the silver side, I would put the adhesive on the white side and then pick it up and move it to the inside of the D triangle right here. So it's in the same spot. It's just attached, instead of on this side of the triangle, it's attached on the inside. And that will actually do another thing, which is it creates a barrier where this edge can't get caught right there. You know what I mean? Because you've got something in between. So you basically kind of stuck a barrier between it. So it might even be best practices to just in general always attach your door to the inside of the triangle instead of, you know, this side right here. But that will fix it. Okay, so now we've got that attached, and I was just going to show with a piece of vellum. I just cut the mailbox out of vellum so you can kind of see how it's attached and stuff. All right, so we put the adhesive all over this flat area of the mechanism. I have to make sure that that arm, the upper arm, comes through the hole. And then what I'm looking to line up is this bottom edge and this fold edge along the left side of the mailbox. So this corner of the mailbox lines up with this corner of the base, okay? The tab is sticking out this way, but it's right along this edge. Notice you can really see clearly with the vellum, it doesn't come all the way to the top. It's not centered, it's lined up here. And that's important because that's what makes the arm come through the hole in the right position. Obviously, you can imagine moving this down, then that wouldn't line up anymore. And then the other thing is it allows you to attach this other end of the lower spinner also lining up with the bottom edge of the mailbox. So it really helps you get it straight. All right, so how do we do that? We're going to add adhesive to this flat area of the lower spinner. Okay, we're not going to guess. We're going to let the back of the mechanism tell us where it goes. So we're going to find the flat position. So the flat position, or the closed position, is when I can see my little tapered tab plus the area next to it, and my arm is horizontal. If, I shouldn't have put that glue on yet because I wanted to show you this. If I can only see the little G tab and I don't see my arm at all because it's vertical now on the front, then I don't have that correct into the correct position. I need to pull that one more over so that I'm seeing the G, I'm seeing this area, my arm is horizontal, and then I can flatten this to that, to line up that edge, sorry, right here with the edge of the mailbox. Okay. All right, so that is the flat position. So in the flat position, the door is up and the arm that comes through the hole is horizontal. And then as you open it, it basically reverses. See, this one comes down. And I mean, that gets as aided by being in the card, you know, to help it move a little bit. Okay, so sometimes people ask, they're like, well, should the door be sticking up higher than the mailbox? Yes, it should. Okay, in the closed position, the door is sticking up higher than the mailbox. You don't really ever see it in the closed position unless you have a clear front card. But yeah, see, in the closed position, it's sticking up higher. But then as soon as you open the card, it's moving anyway. So, you know, you don't really see. Now, let's say you wanted to do a window card because you really want to see that flag move. We'll just be creative. So see, my little love notes are sticking up higher than the mailbox, but I have a heart-shaped window, so that's all disguised by the heart-shaped window. See, and then they come down as the card opens. It wouldn't have given the right, if I had to shorten that thing to where it was hidden by the mailbox, then you wouldn't have been able to put love notes on it. So I gave up a little bit of realism for some really fun motion on that card so that you could have the double spinner. Okay, adding this to the card, just usual. Now, I mean, normally this would be a full card, but I just did a little short one so that you could see it in both the closed and open position. You take the end of your big tab right to the fold of the card, and then you add adhesive to that tab. Oops. Okay, so butted right up next to the fold. And where? Doesn't matter. Up to you. Okay. And that will attach it to this side. So then when you open the card, it's going to flip over to the other side. And then see, you've got it in the closed position with both the G, just the G tab showing, and this is up. Then you add your adhesive to this G tab. G meaning glue. And then press against it. Okay. And then I always say the first time you open it, just hold that tab down so it doesn't pop off. You can, I mean, my vellum mailbox is a little weak, you know, for getting the best motion, but you can see because it's bending the mailbox up. It needs a little bit more strength to it to work nicer, but you can see how it works. Just like that. Okay, so let me see if I can get that to break. I'm going to give it as much pressure as I can to see if I can get those to invert. See, that's what happened with Fran's card, is that they inverted right there. Now, that wouldn't have happened even to this card except for how weak my vellum is. You know, if my vellum was straight, it wouldn't have even been able to happen. But see, I just need to pop them back out. So if this was, so let's put another, hang on, I'll be right back. I'm going to cut another mailbox. Okay, so now I just cut one out of cardstock, and I'm going to glue that over the top so that that'll get stronger, since I did the vellum basically just to show the mechanism. Okay, I should not be able to get it to break without an awful lot of, or get it to invert, I guess, so to speak. So we're going to put that on there, line that up perfectly with the one before. You are not required to put 2 mailboxes in your card. Like I said, it's just because I used vellum, just as an illustration. Okay, there we go. That's actually working. See the difference of it not, you know, being able to, because it's a little stronger now. Okay, now, moment of truth. Can I give it enough pressure to make that not, nope, I can't. See, I can't get those to invert. I mean, I guess if I went in there and pushed, I could get it. But it would be really hard, and it's not going to happen easily, and it's not going to happen in the mail, okay? Because it's gonna want to open, okay? So if your bottom spinner isn't working, that's what happened probably, is that you had some stray adhesive that pulled those triangles up into that position instead. And so see now the one, well, see, it fixed itself again. Come on now, let me break you. All right, so let's see if I can get it to stay in that wrong position. Yeah, there, like that's what Fran's was doing right there. See? It wasn't because those triangles had inverted, so I just had to go in there, and that's because in her case it was stray adhesive. So just wash your adhesive on that lower spinner. Get something in there. Just got to pop those triangles, come back out again. There it goes. Okay. Oh, well, I may have messed with it enough that it's, I really did weaken the folds. Yeah, even pushing against it as hard as I can, harder than they would at the Postal Service. It's not inverting. Okay, so little tip from me to you. Now, if you had to, you could cut the spinner out and put a new one in. And the reason I know that is because that's what I did with Fran's card. And it didn't even need to do it. But see, I just cut with my scissors and took the bottom spinner out and then just put a new one in. So you can always do that if you really have to. But you shouldn't have to. Just watch your stray adhesive, glue to the inside of the D triangle when you can, and you should be fine. All right, hope this helps. Bye.